Elon Musk's vision for the future, from Starlink to Mars in 2025. Chapter 1, The Dreamer's Blueprint. In the quiet of a California night in 2001, a young Elon Musk sat in a modest apartment, his mind alight with visions of distant worlds. He wasn't yet the global icon he'd become, but the seeds of his audacious dreams were already taking root. Inspired by the science fiction novels of his childhood, Isaac Asimov's Foundation series and Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Musk imagined a future where humanity wasn't confined to Earth. He saw a species that could thrive among the stars, with Mars as the first stepping stone. But to get there, he'd need to rewrite the rules of technology, economics, and even geopolitics. Fast forward to 2025, and Musk's vision is no longer the stuff of sci-fi novels but a tangible force reshaping the world. Through SpaceX, he's building rockets to colonize Mars. Through Starlink, he's weaving a web of satellites to connect every corner of the globe. His companies, Tesla, Neuralink, The Boring Company, and X, are all pieces of a grand puzzle, each designed to propel humanity toward a multiplanetary future. But Musk's path is fraught with challenges, controversies, and criticisms, from his role in global conflicts to his unapologetic defiance of conventional norms. This is the story of Elon Musk's vision for 2025 and beyond, a tale of ambition, impact, and the relentless pursuit of a dream that could either save humanity or spark new conflicts. Chapter 2, Starlink, the Internet of the Cosmos. In the early months of 2022, as Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, the nation's communication infrastructure crumbled under cyber attacks and physical destruction. Cellular networks faltered, and internet access became a luxury in war-torn regions. On February 26, Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation, Mikhailo Fedorov, sent a desperate plea via Twitter to a man half a world away, Elon Musk. While your rockets successfully land from space, Russian rockets attack Ukrainian civil people. Fedorov wrote, urging Musk to activate Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet constellation, to restore connectivity. Musk responded within hours, and by February 28, the first Starlink terminals arrived in Ukraine. These flat, rectangular devices, no larger than a baking tray, became lifelines for soldiers and civilians alike. Nestled in trenches, mounted on armored vehicles, or humming in dusty command centers, Starlink terminals provided high-speed, secure internet where none existed. By May 2022, over 150,000 Ukrainians were using Starlink daily, coordinating military operations, running hospitals, and connecting families separated by war. Ukrainian drone operators, like Viktor Stelmak of the 68th Jaeger Brigade, relied on Starlink to stream real-time battlefield updates, enabling precise strikes on Russian positions. Fedorov called Starlink crucial support for Ukraine's infrastructure. Estimating SpaceX's contributions at over $100 million by February 2023. Starlink's impact in Ukraine was a real-world testament to Musk's vision of a globally connected planet. Launched in 2019, Starlink's constellation of low Earth orbit (LEO) satellites, 7,600 strong by May 2025, delivers broadband internet with unprecedented reach and resilience. Unlike traditional satellite systems, which rely on a handful of geostationary satellites 36,000 kilometers above Earth, Starlink's LEO satellites orbit at just 550 kilometers, reducing latency and enabling high-speed connections. With plans to expand to 34,400 satellites, Starlink aims to provide near-global coverage, serving over 3 million customers across 45 countries. Musk's personal anecdotes reveal the sci-fi roots of this project. In a 2024 interview, he recounted how The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy inspired Starlink's mission to make information universally accessible. I wanted to create a system where anyone, anywhere, could access the sum of human knowledge, he said, likening Starlink to a cosmic library. The Starlink router even features a diagram of a Hohmann transfer orbit, a nod to the orbital mechanics needed for Mars missions, reflecting Musk's belief that Starlink's profits will fund humanity's interplanetary future. But Starlink's role in Ukraine also thrust Musk into geopolitical controversies. In September 2022, Ukrainian officials requested Starlink access near Crimea to support a drone attack on Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Musk refused, citing fears that enabling the attack could escalate the conflict, potentially triggering a nuclear response from Russia. Walter Isaacson's biography Elon Musk initially reported that Musk had ordered Starlink service cut off during the attack, but Isaacson later clarified that the service was never active near Crimea, and Musk simply declined to enable it. Ukrainian officials, including Mikhailo Podolyak, criticized Musk, arguing that his decision allowed Russia's fleet to continue launching cruise missiles at civilian targets. Musk defended his stance, stating, "If I had agreed to their request, then SpaceX would be explicitly complicit in a major act of war and conflict escalation." Critics also pointed to Musk's refusal to block Russian state-controlled media on Starlink, despite pressure to curb propaganda. In 2023, a European Union study found that Russian disinformation reached more people on X, formerly Twitter, than before the Ukraine war, partly because Musk stopped labeling state-controlled media. Paul Barrett of NYU's Stern Center for Business and Human Rights called this "scary," accusing Musk of using his corporate power to suppress critics while enabling propaganda. Musk's defenders, however, argue that his commitment to free speech prevents him from censoring content, even if it's controversial. Chapter 3, Mars, the ultimate frontier. While Starlink connects Earth, Musk's ultimate goal lies 225 million kilometers away on the red sands of Mars. His obsession with Mars colonization began in his teens, fueled by Asimov's Tales of Galactic Empires and Robert Zubrin's The Case for Mars. In 2001, Musk tried to buy a Russian rocket to send a greenhouse to Mars, but when the deal fell through, and a Russian official reportedly spat on his shoes, he founded SpaceX in 2002. "I wanted to inspire people to think about Mars as a real possibility," Musk recalled in a 2024 X post. SpaceX's Starship, a 400-foot reusable rocket, is the cornerstone of Musk's Mars vision. Designed to carry up to 100 people and 150 tons of cargo, Starship aims to make Mars travel economically viable. By 2025, SpaceX plans to launch 5 uncrewed Starships to Mars in 2026, testing landing systems and life support technologies. If successful, crewed missions could follow by 2028. Musk envisions a Martian city with dome habitats, spacesuits, and even research into human reproduction off Earth. In a light-hearted moment, he volunteered his own sperm for these experiments, quipping, "If humanity is to survive, we've got to figure this out." Musk's Mars plans are not without critics. Robert Zubrin, an aerospace engineer and Musk's longtime acquaintance, argues that colonizing Mars with 1 million people, a goal Musk has floated, would take decades, not years. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists warns that Musk's rejection of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which prohibits territorial claims on celestial bodies, could spark geopolitical conflicts. Musk's Starlink terms of service boldly declare Mars a free planet, with no Earth-based sovereignty, a stance that legal scholars call incorrect and potentially destabilizing. Musk's focus on Mars also draws criticism for diverting attention from Earth's problems. In a 2025 X post, a user accused him of ignoring climate change while chasing Martian fantasies. Musk replied, "Solving Earth's problems and becoming multiplanetary are not mutually exclusive. Mars forces us to innovate technologies that benefit Earth." Indeed, SpaceX's reusable rocket technology has reduced launch costs, and Starlink satellite manufacturing could inform sustainable production methods. Chapter 4, The Ukraine Conundrum. Starlink's role in Ukraine is a microcosm of Musk's complex influence. By December 2023, Poland had donated 19,500 of the 47,000 Starlink terminals in Ukraine, with the U.S. Department of Defense covering operational costs since June 2023. Ukrainian officials praised Starlink as the backbone of their military communications, with Musk himself stating in March 2025, "Their entire front line would collapse if I turned it off." Yet, his refusal to extend Starlink to Russian-occupied Crimea sparked outrage. Mikhailo Podolyak called it a cocktail of ignorance and big ego, arguing that it cost civilian lives. Musk's motivations were rooted in his fear of escalation. In conversations with Russian officials and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, he expressed concerns that a Ukrainian attack on Crimea could provoke a nuclear response. He also viewed Starlink as a civilian network, not a military tool, leading SpaceX to launch Starshield, a separate program for government clients, in late 2022. Critics, however, saw Musk's actions as overstepping his role as a private citizen, with one Ukrainian official lamenting that they overlooked the significance of Musk's personal control over critical infrastructure. Financial controversies also emerged. In October 2022, Musk warned that Starlink's $20 million monthly cost in Ukraine was unsustainable, prompting SpaceX to request Pentagon funding. After backlash, and a public spat with Ukraine's ambassador, who told Musk to over a controversial peace plan, Musk reversed course, tweeting, "The hell with it. We'll just keep funding Ukraine government for free." Documents later revealed that 85% of Starlink terminals and 30% of connectivity costs were covered by the US, Poland, and others, undermining SpaceX's claims of altruism. In February 2025, reports surfaced that US negotiators threatened to cut Ukraine's Starlink access unless it agreed to a deal on critical minerals. Musk denied these claims, calling them false and asserting, Starlink will never turn off its terminals in Ukraine. This incident highlighted the precarious balance of relying on a private company for wartime communications, with European officials exploring alternatives like Eutelsat's 600 satellite network. Chapter 5: The Controversies and the Critics. Musk's influence extends beyond technology to geopolitics, raising concerns about his unchecked power. In Iran, Starlink's activation in 2022 and 2025 supported anti-government protests, bypassing regime censorship. Yet, the high cost of terminals and government crackdowns limited access, with terminals traded on the black market at exorbitant prices. Musk's ability to switch satellite communications on and off has made him a pivotal figure in global conflicts, from Ukraine to Iran. His refusal to censor Russian media on Starlink and X drew sharp criticism. In 2023, Musk stopped warning X users about state-controlled content, enabling Russian propagandists to amplify their reach. This decision, coupled with his legal battles against groups like the Anti-Defamation League, fueled accusations that he prioritizes personal ideology over global security. Musk's political involvement also stirs controversy. His support for Donald Trump's 2024 campaign and his role as head of the Department of Government Efficiency have raised questions about conflicts of interest, given SpaceX's NASA contracts and Starlink's military applications. Critics argue that Musk's disdain for international governance, exemplified by his rejection of the Outer Space Treaty. Chapter 6: The Man Behind the Vision. Musk's personal anecdotes reveal a man driven by both idealism and pragmatism. He once challenged Vladimir Putin to single combat over Ukraine, a quip that underscored his theatrical flair. In a 2024 town hall, he declared, "I'm against globalist power. We want power to the people." His childhood in South Africa, where he endured bullying and found solace in sci-fi, shaped his belief that humanity must transcend Earth to survive. "If we stay on one planet, we're just waiting for extinction," he said in a 2023 interview. Yet, Musk's critics see a contradiction in his power to the people rhetoric. His control over Starlink and X gives him unprecedented influence, from shaping battlefield outcomes to amplifying global discourse. "It's really scary to see him using his corporate resources to try to squash critics," said Paul Barrett. Musk's defenders, like Senator Marco Rubio, argue that without Starlink, Ukraine would have lost this war long ago. Chapter 7: The Road to 2030 and Beyond. As 2025 unfolds, Musk's vision is at a crossroads. Starlink's next-generation satellites, set to launch on Starship, promise a tenfold increase in bandwidth, further cementing its dominance. SpaceX's uncrewed Mars missions loom on the horizon, with crewed missions potentially following by 2028. But challenges remain: geopolitical tensions, regulatory hurdles, and the sheer complexity of sustaining life on Mars. Musk's story is one of paradoxes: an idealist who courts controversy, a visionary who wields immense power, a dreamer who reshapes reality. Whether he's connecting war-torn regions or aiming for the stars, his impact is undeniable. As he tweeted in 2024, SpaceX will colonize Mars. If we can maintain our technology level long enough, humanity will pass the single-planet Fermi Great Filter. For Musk, the future isn't just a destination, it's a mission. And in 2025, that mission is only beginning.